Imagine you're visiting Rome today. What is the first ancient building you think of? For many, it is the Colosseum. This huge stone amphitheatre is very famous. It is a powerful symbol of ancient Rome. It has stood for nearly 2,000 years. It tells us so many stories about the past. This building is an icon, known worldwide. It draws millions of visitors every single year. They come to see its grandeur and feel its history. Why is this ruin so important to us? It was a place of amazing public shows, but it was also a place of great cruelty. Emperors watched events from special boxes. Ordinary Roman citizens filled the many seats. They came to see gladiators fight bravely. They watched hunts of strange and wild animals. The Colosseum is like a giant stone book. Its pages are filled with tales of glory and sorrow. Are you ready to listen to its ancient stories? When exactly was the Colosseum constructed? It was built a very, very long time ago. This was during the 1st century AD. At this time, Rome was a vast and powerful empire. The Roman emperors held enormous authority. An emperor named Vespasian had a big idea. He decided to build this magnificent arena. He wanted to give a grand gift to the Roman people. It was a way to gain their support and favor. Where was the Colosseum built in the city? Before this arena, the land held a large lake. This lake was part of Emperor Nero's private palace. Nero had not been a very popular emperor. Vespasian wanted to show he was different, so he drained the artificial lake completely. He chose this specific spot for his new building. This was a very clever political decision. He returned land to the public for their enjoyment. Building the Colosseum was an enormous task. What kind of events took place inside the Colosseum? There were many different types of public shows. The most famous of all were the gladiator fights. Who were these gladiators who fought so fiercely? Gladiators were often slaves or prisoners of war. Some, however, were free men who chose to fight. They fought each other, sometimes to the death. The huge crowds absolutely loved these contests. They would cheer loudly for their favorite gladiators. Gladiators used various types of weapons and armor. They were trained to fight in specific styles. Some fought with swords and wore heavy shields. These fighters were called circuses, or murmillos. Others used nets and tridents like fishermen. These were known as retiarii and were lightly armed. Each type of gladiator had their own special skills. Their combats were like a deadly, serious sport. This was prime entertainment for the Roman people. The fights themselves were often incredibly brutal. Section 4, More Than Gladiators, Other Shows. The Colosseum was not only for gladiator contests. There were many other exciting shows for the public. One very popular type of event was wild animal hunts. These spectacular hunts were called. Romans brought in wild animals from all over their empire. Lions, tigers, bears, elephants, rhinos, and more. These animals were hunted and killed in the arena. It was a display of Rome's power over the natural world. It showed the vast reach of the Roman Empire. Imagine seeing these exotic animals for the very first time. Many ordinary Romans had never seen such creatures before. These animal hunts were truly spectacular and thrilling. Sometimes different kinds of animals fought each other. Sometimes specially trained hunters fought the animals. These brave hunters were called. The shows were dangerous, violent, and very bloody. It is estimated that thousands of animals died there. The sand of the arena often soaked up their blood. Believe it or not, the Colosseum could even be flooded. Section 5, A Roman Day Out, Why They Watched. Why did so many Roman people love these games? For most, it was simply a fantastic day out. It was exciting and importantly free entertainment. The emperors and rich citizens provided these shows. This policy helped to keep the general population happy. It was famously known as bread and circuses. Free food and spectacular entertainment kept people content. It distracted them from poverty or political problems. It was a way for emperors to gain popularity. The games were also a very important social event. People from all different classes of society came. The wealthy and powerful sat in the best seats near the front. The poor and common folk sat much higher up, but everyone, rich or poor, watched the events together. They could see the emperor and other important figures. They could feel like they were part of something big. The seating arrangement reinforced the social order. Everyone knew their place in Roman society. These grand spectacles clearly demonstrated Roman power. Section 6 echoes through time, the Colosseum today. The famous gladiator games did not continue forever. Over many years, they slowly began to fade away. The Roman Empire itself started to change significantly. The religion of Christianity became increasingly important. By the early 6th century AD, the games finally stopped. The Colosseum was then used for many other purposes. For a time, it became a type of fortress. People even built small houses and workshops inside it. It was also used as a quarry for building stone. Over the long centuries, earthquakes damaged the Colosseum. Large parts of its outer wall and structure fell down. People took many of the fallen stones for other buildings. They used them to construct churches and palaces in Rome. For many hundreds of years it was somewhat neglected, but its massive form was never completely forgotten. It always stood as a powerful reminder of Rome's past glory. Artists, poets, and writers were often inspired by its ruins. It became a symbol of fallen empires. Today, the Colosseum is a world-famous historical landmark.